On the morning of September 11th, 2001, over 3,000 people lost their lives here, and another few hundred died at the Pentagon and in Pennsylvania. On that morning, I and my husband were out organizing at separate intersections in the D.C. Beltway. We were handing out a statement written by Lyndon LaRouche in August of 2001, where he was warning of a major terrorist attack on the United States. I remember my shock as drivers rolled down their car windows to tell me what was happening in New York, and one driver who told me that his wife was working at the World Trade Center that day and he had not been able to reach her. But the targets of the attack on 9/11 were not the people who were killed. The target of the 9/11 attacks were those of us who lived. Thousands of people were cruelly murdered in order to accomplish the same objectives as a generation earlier with the assassinations of both Kennedys. The objective was not to make us give up our freedoms, but to make us give up our identities as Americans. So when then President Bush arranged for the Saudi royal family, Prince Bandar and others, who had financed two of the hijackers in the 9/11 attacks to fly out of the country on their private jets, when only military planes were flying otherwise, the American people said nothing. And when Vice President Dick Cheney launched the preemptive war against Iraq, which had nothing to do with the attacks on 9/11, and put our young soldiers through the horror of torturing other human beings at Abu Ghraib, the American people said nothing. Your neighbors, through fear and pragmatism, rationalized their unprincipled toleration of the policies of dictatorship, of preemptive war, of torture, of warrantless wiretapping, of signing statements. And later, Americans rationalized the toleration of trillions of dollars of bailouts of mega gambling financial institutions, while over 4 million Americans lost their homes through foreclosure. In 2009, President Obama agreed that he would release, he told the families of the 9/11 victims that he would finally release the 28 pages of the 9/11 Commission report, which had been covered up by Cheney and Bush, which exposed the British-Saudi deal known as Al-Yamama, whereby British aerospace weapons were traded for petroleum, and this created the apparatus by which these attacks could occur. Now, President Obama has reneged on his promise. The useful British puppet that he is acting as Bush and Cheney did to cover up the truth of what happened on 9/11. Why? Because the global financial system is finished. Because Bernanke is requesting another $1 trillion in bailouts, which will not work if he gets it or if he doesn't get it. And therefore, Obama has to go for a dictatorship. Lyndon LaRouche has warned, as he did in January and August of 2001, that we must be prepared for another such Reichstag event. That's the context for looking at the events that just unfolded in Norway. This is not an event in and of itself, but most likely a precursor of other events. This is why President Obama must be removed from office now, and Glass-Steagall must be rammed through our cowardly Congress. The 6 of us LaRouche Democrats are asking you, the American people, to find your courage and join us in telling your fellow Americans and past and future generations, never again.